What is going on, everybody? My name is Jordan, and thank you so much for watching my video on how to do VST instruments, how to use VST instruments and VST effects in Reason using Reaper and Copperland Manager. Thank you so much for my added support for the 100,000 views that you guys gave me on my top favorite free programs of 2015. That was 2 years ago. Oh my gosh. And then also thank you for your patience with my uhs and ums. I'm going to do everything I can to stop doing that. So anyway, Reason users, I'm addressing you in particular. You know that we don't have VST support. We're probably never going to get VST support. What is that phantom hum? You guys hear that? Ah, see, you give your computer a little kick, hum goes away. That's a life tip right there. But we haven't had VST support. We're probably never going to get VST support, but that's okay because I've got two ways that you can actually use VST instruments and VST effects in Reason. Now, there are some drawbacks. Obviously, you're not going to have this super, you're not going to be able to right click on in Reason and open up a VST effect and do that. The first technique that I'm going to be using is a variation on a pretty old technique when it comes to Midi and using VST instruments, but VST effects is going to be a little bit different, but it's all going to be handled within Reason, which I haven't seen anybody specifically do. So, there we go. So, a couple of things that you are going to need. Oh, this is the tutorial that I followed to help me along with this process. So, thank you, Fergler. You are also going to need to download Reaper, the 64-bit version. There's a 60-day free trial that you can, that you feel free to check out if you don't want to buy it. But if you have already downloaded it, you're going to want to go here, hit agree, next. It's going to do my UIC thing. Under optional functionality, that's going to be unchecked, the ReRoute ASIO driver. You want to make sure that that is checked. If you aren't seeing the ReRoute ASIO driver, dollars to donuts, the reason why is because you didn't check that box. So I obviously don't need to reinstall it. Then I also needed to install Copperland Manager to get this to work. I think this has to do with like virtualizing Midi over Ethernet. So syncing up multiple control rooms and stuff. We're just going to use it for the free Midi driver. It lets you make as many virtual Midi ports as you want, which is kind of insane. I think it goes up to like 256 free Midi ports, which is awesome. Some of the other Midi drivers are not, like, they have stipulations as to where you can use them and how you can use them. Copperland is just free, which is great. So you're going to download Copperland Manager, super self-explanatory, don't need to do anything in particular. So anyway, so first things first, we're going to configure Copperland Manager, where you're always going to need to to run Copperland Manager before you do this technique. So I'm going to go to Midi. I know if you just press buttons in this program, it makes things go. I don't know how they go, but they do. So we're going to click Midi here. We're going to click vMidi1. I've actually already done this, so it's going to show up that way. Midi virtual cable. I'm going to delete my connection, but we're just going to go add Midi cable. Click Midi one more time, vMidi2. That's it. So all we're doing is basically feeding vMidi1 directly into vMidi2, and I will show you why once we get into the rest of this. So I'm going to minimize like that. So I'm opening up Reason right now, and the reason why I like to open up Reason, I'm saying it a bunch of times, first is just to make sure that the ReRoute driver is configured properly first. It crashes a little bit the first time that you get it sort of set up, but once you get it set up, like I've been using this specific situation for about 6 months now, and I haven't had any problems now that I've got it set up and going. If you start clicking back and forth between drivers, it gets a little weird sometimes, but it's just the bugs in the machine. So I'm going to go to Edit Preferences, Audio. ReRoute ASIO driver is actually already selected. I'm going to you can't change your buffer size and sample rate in Reason when you do this. You have to do it in Reaper. So, and then I'm going to go to Control Surfaces because I have a piano. If you don't have a piano, I'm not exactly sure. I don't think you're going to be able to do this. So if you're just trying to pencil in notes, I don't think you're going to be able to do it because you need to have some sort of control over your Midi out device. So you need a keyboard to do it, and I'll show you why. So what I do is I double click here. You'll see that I have Oxygen 49 Midi in. That's my in port. But my out port is vMidi1 because I can just select it here. So if you can't do that, if you don't have a way to select your out port for your project Midi, that's going to be an issue. So I think what you could do is you could just add one, and you could just do like other or something like that, and then but then just don't use it. I'm not sure. So you'd have to try to figure out how to make it if you don't have a MIDI keyboard. But I don't know. That might be a challenge, but I'll show you later. So anyway, that's how my keyboard works. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project in Reaper. I've done this tutorial so many times with issues, so I am ready to be done with it, believe me. I'm going to go to Options, then Preferences. As you can see in here, I've disabled vMIDI 1 as that driver. Instead, we're just going to keep this one enabled. So you can just right-click Enable Input or right-click Disable Input, whatever it is. So we only want vMIDI 2 working. That's the only one that we want working. Under Audio Device, just ensure that you have the ASIO driver of choice for your interface. I have a PreSonus Fire Studio project, so I have all of those set up. My first and last inputs are 1 through 8. That's all the inputs I have. And my output range is 1 through 10 of all of the outputs that I have available. Sample rate, this is where you would change it. Block size is the same thing as buffer size. So if they're ever mismatched between Reaper and Reason and you see that they're not the same, you can just go in here and just type the same thing and hit OK. Like I said, this driver, once you're starting it, can crash. It's just the nature of it. But like I said, after 6 months of being so happy with being able to do this, I'm not even tripping about it anymore. So it crashed. That's okay. So all I have to do is I have to go to Edit, Preferences, Audio, select it again, and we're good. It may crash one more time. I ain't sure, but we'll see. So now I'm going to go back into, whoops-a-daisy. I'm going to right-click in Reaper, Insert New Track, Insert New Track. We're going to just, let's do 3. This one's going to be MIDI. This one's going to be guitar. This one's going to be output. Okay. For MIDI, we're going to use our virtual MIDI driver. So the input is going to be vMIDI 2, all channels. For guitar, that's going to be input PreSonus Fire Studio Project 1. I think it just crashed again. No, it didn't. Shut my mouth. That's so I have unbalanced combo jacks in my PreSonus of the first 2 channels. So if I'm going to plug in guitar, I'm going to do that in the first channel there. So Fire Studio Project 1. Output, we actually are not going to choose an input from here. We're actually going to set up these routes now. So if I click route on MIDI for the first one, we aren't going to need to do anything because it's a MIDI track. So you don't actually have to do anything on the MIDI one. So, oh, actually, yes, you do, because the output's going to be audio. So instead, we're going to uncheck master send, and instead we're going to do reroute 1 and 2. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. So that's all you have to do with that. Next, we are going to go to guitar, uncheck master send. We're going to do that once again to reroute 1 and 2. That's all you have to do with that. And then under output, we're going to uncheck master send. This time, we're going to do a new receive. No, sorry. That one's going to be like that. I chose, it's been a while since I've done this tutorial, so it's going to be 1 and 2. That's my monitors, so that's what I want it to play out of. So I've just chosen 1 and 2 there, whatever your output is. Then in here, what we failed to do is we needed to choose a stereo input. So we're going to go to Input Stereo, reroute 1 and 2. That's all you have to do. Let's see if the driver crashed. Take your bets. Nope, we're good. Awesome. So anyway, so there we go. So that should all be set up. To my knowledge, it should all be set up, but I'm not sure. So let's check. So first things first, I'm going to go back into Reason, and I'm going to make a external MIDI instrument. So you've probably seen this method before. So I made the instrument. See, so the audio driver stopped working. So I'm going to have to go to Edit Preferences. I'm going to have to restart it. Like I said, this does, for some reason, this does this all the time when you first start it. Every time I do this tutorial, the first few times that you do it, it messes up. Sometimes a restart, see, it does it again. Let's try it one more time. Preferences. I'm going to choose something stupid, like VB audio cable. There we go. Let's see if it crashes. Like I said, usually what happens is I save all of these files. So I save specifically. So here, let's do this. I'm gonna save this. I don't know why it freaking crashes all the time. I'm gonna go to File, and I'm gonna save this as a. We'll just save it as Reason Tutorial Save. Okay, I'm gonna close that. I don't think I need to save this. I'm just gonna close it. No, I don't need to save it. Should be good. So closed everything out. Let's just check in Task Manager. I'm so sorry for the loud noises. Oh my gosh. There's a movie going on in the next room, so it's insanely loud. Oh my gosh. And now the air conditioning kicks on again. Of course it does, am I right? Close out of Skype. Maybe it's TeamViewer that's screwing things up. Close TeamViewer. Anytime something's broken, it's probably TeamViewer. Alright, so there we go. So let's try this again. So I'm going to open up Reaper first this time. Should open the last one. Yeah, open up the last thing. Now I'm going to open up Reason. Nice thing about opening up Reason second is just in case for some reason it wants to open it in slave mode, it won't. As you can see up here, ASIO ReRoute is selected. Let's see if it has in fact yeah, see, it keeps crashing. And I don't understand why. It's insane. It always does this. So let's just continue with the tutorial though. So I'm gonna go to Utilities. No, not Utilities. I'll leave it off. I'm going to go to Instruments, I'm going to go to External Midi, and then I'm going to go to, I want the output to be VMidi 1, because you can't have Reaper and Reason using the same MIDI driver. So I have VMidi 1 selected here. In Reaper, I'm going to, like I said, I have VMidi 2 selected, and the reason why is because, remember, in Copperland, we set VMidi 1 to go directly into VMidi 2. So they're both receiving the same MIDI, they're just called different things. The programs see them as different things. So let me, one more time, for whatever stupid reason, restart ReRoute. And like I said, it is unbelievable because when I do it on my own sessions and everything, it never, ever crashes. And I almost want to bring up one of my sessions because it almost never, ever crashes. So, like I said, since it's doing this, what we're going to do is, now that I have everything set up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a restart, and then we will come right back. Okay, so we are back, and let's just make sure that everything is everything it appears to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart Copperland Manager. Like I said, I hate the fact that this tutorial is so long, but it has to be done. So, MIDI, VMidi 1, VMidi 2, all set. Copperland Manager's on. Next, we're going to open up Reaper. It literally should be that simple. Open up Reaper. My same file here. Should all be set. And sometimes it seems like once you get playing, the driver works properly. Under audio, it's working for now. $5 it crashes. Wow, you owe me $5. Alright, so let's just get going. Like I said, sometimes it works better once you start feeding it with stuff. So I'm going to open up a external MIDI device here. Do the MIDI 1 again. Reaper. In here, I'm going to hit Effects, and I'm going to add an effect. So I have some VSTIs in here. So I'm going to do Noisemaker. Beautiful synth. So I'm going to hit Record Enable here, and I'm also going to hit Record Monitoring On, and then Record here, Record Monitoring On. And now if I restart, oh, then I need to make an audio track here. I'm going to make it stereo. I have both of these Record enabled now. Edit, Preferences, Start ReRoute. We are good, fam. It should work. I'm an amazing synth player. So it seems to be working now. So see, it seems like that connection sort of solidifies it. Let's try something else. Yeah, cool. So as you can see, it's playing out of the output here. So if I were to then go in here and add we'll just add a Dr. Octorex. Throw something interesting in here. Open, something, anything, please. Love Pete. Anything will do. Really? Oh, did the device just crash? It didn't just crash, did it? Let's see. Let's see if it crashed. Oh, thank goodness it didn't crash. We're still good. I thought that's kind of nice. But as you can see, if here, we'll run it again. It's running into Reaper. So if I turn it off, then go here, and let's record something with our bass line. I don't know what that was. As you can see, it recorded the MIDI here, and it recorded the audio here. And what's nice is from here, really, I guess you don't really need a keyboard because you're choosing your MIDI driver right here. So, oh, you need to turn that on. Oh, so as you can see, so when I make a change there, I gotta make sure this is deleted. So now, when I record it again, now I have it baked in there. So, and then if I wanted to change, say I wanted to change devices the way that I do it, or I want to change VSTIs, what I do is I name this whatever bass, and then I mute it, and then I right click, duplicate it. So now I'll just do this as bass as well. And I'll just move this up here along with it, minimize it, and then delete this. Now this will be maybe lead or something. And then I'll make a new audio track. Stereo input. Boom. Record this too there. And then we'll choose a lead. If we can find one. I don't know what. It's in a different key for some reason. Okay, here we go. There we go. So as you can see, it's playing everything properly. But the problem is that you're no longer going to be able to export the song as loop up here. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to record the output of that track that we did in Reaper. So if I want to do a mix down, what I'm going to have to do is, that's fine right there. I'm going to have to go down here and press record. So this is record enabled here, but this is the important one to record enable. And then I just go here, make sure click is off, make sure click is off. Save all, turn this off. As you can see, I now have a layback here. I also have the active MIDI at the time over here. So as you can see, this one's muted, but this one is not. So that one is then copied in here. So whatever MIDI is live in Reason at the time for this output, that's what's going to be recorded in here. So you might find other uses for that, but that's what's recorded because it was being recorded here. So then from here, a little loud. I don't know what that is, but anyway. So then what's nice is then if you feel like it, you could throw a limiter or nose or, you know, any VST plugin on here and do it in real time. So like glitch is a really insane one that may crash my system. We'll see. Doesn't usually. That's not fair to say. Let's see if it does though. Well, it didn't crash it. Anyway, but yeah, so then you could do fun stuff like that on the master track. So then when you're ready to export, you just hit File, Render. You can do selected media items. I could just select that, and then just export it out as however you want it. And that's how you do your layback, or not your layback, but your final export. Lastly, so that's basically how you do that. There are all other kinds of ways that I'm sure you can already figure out using individual MIDI channels and things over here on how to get multiple VST instruments working and things like that. I haven't figured out automation. You can draw in automation. So if you double click on the lane, you can use the MIDI CC values to draw in automation. I'm not sure if that will correspond in Reaper. It should, but I haven't really gotten that to work. So you're gonna have to figure that out on your own. This is like, I don't really do like a massive amount of synthesis automation when I'm doing this. This is like if there's a like something like Expand, like a sampler or something like that, that doesn't require a lot of automation, I go in here. Most Reason users want to do their automation in Reason anyway. So there you go. But this is good for our purposes like that. Now, just to show you real quick, the other ways that you can use this is the VST Effects. So what I can do is I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to make a new audio track here. And let me just grab this. A little tight in my room at the moment. But I'm just going to grab a guitar, and I'm going to plug it into the first MIDI, sorry, not the first MIDI, first input on my PreSonus Fire Studio project, because that is where you would plug it in. And then if I go to Reaper, and then I go here and here, I'm gonna have to turn that down. It's still a pretty hot signal for whatever reason. I have a better pick than this big fat one. Jazz pick. I don't know what I'm playing. Okay, so I can delete this. I can delete this. And what's nice is I can go into effects here. I love bias. So I can just go into bias amp here. I have this here. It's opening now. Cool. Choose something fun. Let's choose one that already has their, I use a different IR impulse response thing. Yeah. Oh, this was one of the ones that I took the cabinet model off. Let's just put the old tread plate back on there with the C414. I am playing, you can't see it in my camera, but whatever. So, and then if you look in Reason, and and I am getting quite a bit of feedback because I don't have the noise gate on. Yeah, that's a little better. Awesome. So then if I hit record, you see that it actually recorded it directly into Reason with the tone baked in. Great. And then you can basically track anything that you would need to track through that. So the same process could be used for like a vocal. So if you had a specific vocal compressor or something like that that you wanted to use in, in Reason specifically, but it's a VST, you would be able to record that. You can do multiple audio channels at the same time, but you're just going to have to route that accordingly. And I'll leave that to you to figure out. Like if you're able to see this just like basic stuff, you'll be able to obviously figure out ways to expand that with different types of routing. Because if you look in Reason and Reaper under ReRoute, you'll look at all, there's 16 channels of ReRoute audio. So you'll be able to do all other kinds of routing and stuff like that if you take the time to do it. But that's basically it. So now obviously there's no way to like that I have found out yet besides using a loopback cable or some sort of virtual Midi, virtual audio thing. There's no way to say like, well, can I record into Reason but then send it out into Reaper? So to put like, can I put a scream before my guitar and then send that to Reaper and then send it back in? No. Short answer, no. Not to my knowledge, not without doing a loop back. And that's a whole different video. But thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that this tutorial gets a little weird with the crashing, but as you see, it's not crashing anymore. I think once you get it started, it stops crashing. So I'm not really sure what that's about, but I've been using this method for quite a bit of time now. And once you get your session set up, do your restart, it's fine. So anyway, so thank you so much for watching. I'm hoping to do many more videos that aren't just about Reason, but about lots of different things, lots of different techniques. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk at you guys later.